What up, family? Michael David H here. Welcome to my channel, Brown Words and Pictures. If you like the content that I provide here, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I like feedback because that is the breakfast of champions. It allows me to see what's working and what's not so I can make things better. So how do you become a top children's book illustrator? Well, if you watched one of my other videos, I shared 4 books that illustrators should have. It had nothing to do with art but business. But one of them was the Bible. The Bible is my favorite book. And I'm going to share with you a story that gives the key to becoming a top children's book illustrator. If you're not familiar with the story is a man's daughter is very, very sick, and she's pretty much going to die. He runs to Christ to find Christ. He runs to find Christ, and he asks Christ, could he come to his house to heal his daughter? Christ said, I will do it. On his way to the man's house, Christ is stopped by a woman. I'm a father, and if I know I'm running out of time because my child needs me or needs this time, I'm going to be pretty upset. So Christ is on his way, and he is stopped by this woman. The woman actually needs Christ as well. Everybody knows the woman who had something wrong with her body with a blood issue, and she touched Christ and she was healed. But you could imagine, after being healed, the conversation that she was having with Christ, thanking him so much. As a man or father, you can imagine the other guy named Jairus. He's thinking, yo, you have to get to my house because my daughter is dying and we don't have much time. Well, long story short, after Christ is finished dealing with the woman, he begins heading into the direction of the man's house. Right at that time, someone comes from Jairus' house and says, there's no need for the teacher or Christ to come because your daughter is dead. If I'm a man, I'm livid at the woman who stopped them because I knew my daughter didn't have much time. So I'm on fire. But here's the great thing. But before I say the key, let me tell you something. If someone gave you the recipe for the best cheeseburgers in the world, and they said only add this particular ingredient, whatever the ingredient is, they say only add this, and you'll get the best tasting cheeseburgers in the world. If you add anything else, you mess up the recipe because they said only do that or add this ingredient. Remember that. So anyway, after Christ turns to the man and he says to the man this phrase. This is the first thing you need to remember if you're going to be a top children's book illustrator. Christ says, do not be afraid. That's the first part. Whatever you are going to do, if you want to be a top children's book illustrator and reach the top, do not be afraid. And then Christ gives the second part. This part revolutionized my thinking. I never saw this for so many years. It went over my head. And here's what Christ said to the man. Only believe. Now, let me put it together. Do not be afraid. Only believe. And what does that mean for you and I? Once we set our intention on being the top or being a top children's book illustrator, every action we take, we're not afraid, and every action always leads to becoming a top children's book illustrator. Why? Because we're not afraid, and we only believe in the end result. Anyway, Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to be conducting a children's book illustration masterclass. If you're interested in that, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Click the link and it'll shoot you over to my site where you can put in your email and name, and you'll be notified when the class is get ready to start. Anyway, thanks again for hanging out, and peace and God bless.